Hey guys, this is going to be my Azerite traits video. Bear in mind that these are changing all the time on beta. I recently had to go through and change all the values again because they're buffing stuff, nerfing stuff all the time. So I'll do my best to keep this document updated for when BFA goes live, and it will be in the description of the video. So if you want to get to this, that's where it is. What we've got on here is we've got the name of the trait, the tier that I'm rating it. This is for disc and holy, but primarily disc. I haven't actually put the holy specific traits in yet. Healer in PvP, so that's what I'm rating it based on. This is not like a PvE rating or anything like that. This is gonna tell you, this is going to tell you where it's located. These are all the outer ring. Then we've got some middle ring and some inner rings. Then this is the effect type of the trait. So some of them are just going to buff spells directly. I'll change them. Other ones are just flat out stat procs. Then we've got some damage procs, some healing procs, stuff like that. So that listed here. And then this is kind of a brief description of what the trait does. Obviously check it out in game or on wowhead or something if you want to have a fuller description. But you kind of get the gist from this. This is the procs per minute. Any notes or questions or thoughts that I had about it that might affect how good it is can be found here. The red stuff is the conclusion I've come to. And then we've got some links here to the gear that has those traits on. So we've got a few here for each one. Not completely finished yet, but we've got at least one item for each one. So you can easily go to wowhead and find out, you know, where you can get it or what items you're looking for, stuff like that. So yeah, going into it a little bit more. At the moment, we've got the stronger together or combined might, because it's different. It's called different thing if you, depending on if you're alliance or horde. I'm at the moment rating that S+. It's basically drops a banner that affects everyone in I think 30 yards. It's definitely more than 20. And there's some really insane procs there, and you can actually get this on 2 items. And when it procs, obviously, if you have 2 items, it's going to give you 4k of whatever banner procs in terms of secondary stat. It can be anything: haste, mastery, versatility, crit. But it can also drop one that drops that increases spell power by 2k, which is roughly translates to about 2k int, which is crazy. If that procs on like a burst, you're just gonna, as a team, just kill someone. And the banner will give you 2k spell power / attack power. That one that drops. So I think this is very good right now, especially as a healer. You can yeah, you're going to be getting a bit less healing or flat stats, but you're going to be giving your team so much if you get good procs from this. So I think from a utility perspective, it's really good. Then we've got Wheel and Woe and Enduring Luminescence, which are both buffing spells in some way. These are both very good as well. This is just a flat increase to Radiance healing, and then obviously increasing the atonement duration of Radiance. And this one is going to increase your damage to your next smite if you penance defensively, and it increases the absorb of your next shield if you penance offensively, which is about 2.5k absorb. It's not a joke. Shield's doing about 11k I think in 370 gear on beta at the moment, so it's about 25% more on a shield, which is not terrible. So I'm rating this quite highly at the moment. It's S tier. Then you've got a bunch of int procs and a stacking int passive. 140 int passive all the time isn't bad, so I think this is quite good. I may even have rated this slightly lowly, which reminds me, if you do disagree with how I've rated anything, if I've rated anything too high, too low, whatever, let me know what you think in the comments. I know it sounds cheesy as fuck, but it actually will be helpful in this case. We can have some sort of discussion about where we think stuff should be in terms of PvP and what we think is valuable. Because I think we're not gonna just like randomly pick stuff and it be the best, right? You need to kind of have a conversation and discuss pros and cons and stuff like that. So I think it's very useful. Then you got Secrets of the Deep, another proc. It drops on the floor, so you have to pick this one up, run over it. But it lasts 18 seconds, is quite a long one. And occasionally it procs for double, which isn't bad. 2 procs per minute on that one. Then we've got a couple of PvP ones. They're not bad. The crit haste isn't ideal. I've been going for either haste mastery or mastery haste, or the same but with versatility, and I haven't really decided which one I prefer yet. Obviously with the mastery you're trading more healing overall for basically the same amount in damage that you would get from versatility, so it's whether you prefer to get that bit of extra damage or a bit of extra healing, really. Then we just got some more mastery procs. I think I value mastery and versatility and int procs the highest. Crit is a little RNG. I mean, I guess it's okay at the end of the day. It's a throughput gain, for your casts, per cast. I think haste procs are, for me at the moment, the least valuable, although you prioritize haste as a stat. I think haste procs kind of make the gameplay less fluid. Like, you're playing faster sometimes, slower sometimes, because the global speed is going to change, and it makes it feel a bit, I don't want to say weird, but like unpredictable to play. Like if you've just had a haste proc and you're kind of feeling the globals being a bit quicker, you might use an ability and then the proc not be on, and for a couple of seconds and not get your global back in time to death, something like that. So for me, the throughput procs are just superior in that you're always going to get value from them. There's always going to be somebody that's going to need some healing, or it's always valuable to top somebody up quicker and let them go more offensive. So that's the reason I've rated those slightly higher. We've got Moment of Repose and Gift of Forgiveness, and I guess Contemptuous Homily. They're all spell mods. This one's just increasing penance damage. It comes out to about 900 damage, I guess. And this one is just more smite when you have atonements up, which is okay, but it's like, it's kind of niche. Like, the atonements fall off, and you don't get that much value out of it compared to some of the other stuff that's available, due to the atonement requirement. Moment of Repose looks okay. It's a 13k heal, especially if you get a couple of these talents. You're going to do a pretty big heal off global with pain suppression. The only thing I dislike about it is because, like, I'd much rather this was on Rapture, right, than pain suppression. If this was on Rapture, it would be really, really good. But because it's on pain suppression, it's like you want to pain suppression people. Ideally, if you do a perfect pain suppression, right, you'll do it when they're on 100% and they're about to start getting nuked, right, and you're getting CC'd. That's like your ideal pain suppression users. So the healer is going to get wasted. The applying atonement is kind of negligible anyway. Yeah, right, it's a free global, but it's not really the big draw for this this trait, in my opinion. But yeah, I think this would be really cool if it was on Rapture. But yeah, I don't know. I don't even know how you would do that, because the issue with Rapture right now is the global on it, right? So I mean, end of the day, remove Rapture global. Am I right? But yeah, like that's where you would see more benefit from it. But I mean, it's certainly nothing to sneeze at. It's a decent sized heal off global. Then you just got some haste procs, some crit procs. This is an int proc, 4 ppm, which is good, but it makes a puddle on the ground that you have to stand in, which makes it kind of significantly worse in PvP because it's not really that static, It's kind of hard to get full value from it. Battlefield focus or precision is just you put a debuff on the target. Every hit that target takes is 362 more, and it gets 25 stacks of that when you proc, around 1 proc per minute. So that's not bad. it's around a 10k damage proc in terms of value if you get all of the stacks off. Laser Matrix, again, damage proc. These are all damage procs, and they're just getting lower and lower as you go down. I've basically tried to rank them in order, approximately. So yeah, more damage procs here, and then Depth of Shadows, which I think is a fucking joke. Your Purge the Wicked will stack up a buff, and that buff will increase the healing of your next Shadow Mend by 2,250. Mend is doing about 20k right now, so it's like 10% more on a Mend at maximum stacks, but having multiple dots up doesn't actually increase how fast the stacks stack up. It needs to be legit, like, this needs to be like 12k, I think. Like right now it looks so low. At max stack, I mean, it needs to be 12k, and it needs to stack way faster. So this is poor. This needs a buff. Then we've got our middle tier. I don't know why it always does this. Something I need to fix it. So Concentrated Mending actually recently got nerfed, but it's still decent. It was doing around 6.2k healing before. Now it's doing about 5k. It was like 100, 200, 400, right? So it got a slight nerf, but it's still decent, I think. It procs an awful lot, and it's free healing, basically. And then you've got Blessed Portents, which is 6k healing. If you put a buff on them, and if they drop below 50%, they'll get a 6k heal. It's got a high proc per minute, so I think this is not too bad. It's maybe 5% of someone's health at 120. So it's not terrible. It's probably not as valuable as Concentrated Mending, because of course this can proc over 50%, but still, on demand, 6k health, not terrible. Synergistic Growth actually was higher. Blessed Portents just got buffed as well. Synergistic Growth got nerfed. It was about 3 times the mastery before. It's been nerfed pretty hard. Same with On My Way and Blood Siphon and Earthling, even, like, all this shit got nerfed. They were all about 30% better, 40% better, something like that. Earthling was actually significantly better. It was around 180 average int, and it's been hit hard. But it's still decent because of how valuable int is as a stat in BFA. We've got Elemental Whirl, still decent. I took it down from S tier though to A tier due to the nerf. Overwhelming Power actually got buffed, so that's gone up. It's quite a lot of haste now. It's not the greatest proc in the world. I don't know if it deserves to be A tier. I may actually move this down below Savior. Savior's a 4k healing chance on targets below 35%, but it's a 12-second internal cooldown, so you can't back-to-back proc. But it's still, you know, it's extra healing. I don't think it's quite as good as Blessed Portents, but it's not as terrible as some stuff available. Unstable Flames also got nerfed. This was like 3 times the crit before. It's been hit fairly hard. But Unstable Flames has about 60-70% uptime in PvP. It's really fucking high. But I think they nerfed the PPM, I'm not sure. Gut Riffer got buffed. It procs twice as often now. They nerfed the damage slightly, but still. If it procs 10 times a minute, 17k damage a minute, and it will proc off your dots and shit, so. It's not bad, for sure. This might be worth an A tier, possibly. Woundbinder is up to 625 haste on heals, below, I believe, on people below a certain HP, but I can't remember exactly. I should write that down, really. Also not terrible, but there's better things available. And we have Bracing Chill that also got buffed, but it's 20-yard range, so if you're playing RMP or something, although it procs off Atonement, if there's nobody in range of like your rogue or mage, then it's gonna just get wasted, and it only procs once a minute, so if you waste it, it has no value. So that's why this is lowly rated. It could be good against certain things, but overall, the range kind of inhibits it a little bit. And then we got some damage procs here. Nothing too special. Seems fairly low. This seems really low, in fact. And we got ephemeral recovery. Sorry, which the mana seems really low. I think you have like 100k mana at 120. So 52 mana over 8 seconds is. It seems low. It's going to be like, what, 100 mana every 8 seconds in PvE, but in PvP I don't know if it's worth it. And then we've got our inner tier. And Sanctum just received a huge buff. It was about 4k damage before, magic damage. Now it's 14k magic damage, so that's crazy. It's a crazy buff. This is off global, obviously, so this is really good. Most stuff has magic damage as well, so I'm giving that an S+ straight away. In passive, Visage was about 900 heal before. That's been buffed to about 4k. And that will proc every 6 seconds. So if you're getting trained, this is absolutely amazing. Just 4k every 6 seconds for free. Great talent there. Twist Magic also got buffed really hard. So now when you dispel offensively, you're going to heal your whole team for 7.2k. That seems very good. Because a lot of the time when you're dispelling offensively, you lose value from it. Even though you're getting stuff off, you lose value in that you're doing that instead of damaging, right? So even though you're technically doing more damage by dispelling stuff, like a shield or whatever, you're not getting the healing benefit from Atonement that you would if you were just damaging through it. And this kind of alleviates that a little bit by giving that healing back. So I actually really like the design of this. It kind of smoothens out the decision making that you have on disc, where you decide whether or not you want to purge spam or whatever. Then we've got Resounding Protection, also got buffed. This is now an 11k absorb every 30 seconds. That's going to be almost 10% of someone's life. If you think in full gear, 370 gear at max level, it's going to be 140k HP. So it's almost 10% of someone's life, just an absorb that's going to be always on you. So I mean, 10% more HP. It'll probably come out to about 7 or 8 with max gear, but that's not bad, right? That's what it is essentially. So that gains an S tier as well. Like, that's been increased recently. Azerite Fortification, also not bad, but I'm a little worried. Like, if you get stunned on full HP, it's gonna proc. You're gonna overheal, and then it's wasted. Whereas if you get stunned and you're low, the 13k heal is definitely not bad. Possibly Bulwark of the Masses is going to be better in terms of a lot of the teams that will go on you as a disc have some sort of pets or whatever, with the exception of a few. But yeah, so if they do have pets, you can run this, and whenever there's 4 enemies on top of you, you're going to get a big ass 15k shield, and that's a 15-second cooldown only, so that's going to be proccing constantly. So I think that definitely has value against certain cleaves. Then you have Long Strider, just move speed based on a percentage of your secondary stats. Gemhide recently got nerfed as well. It was around 1k armor before, down to 211 armor. I think that this was, the best talent here before. It's down to almost B tier now because of how little armor this is giving. Avoidance, I'd say that's around 6%. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure avoidance is AoE only. So yeah, Gemhide's pretty dead for me. And then you have Self-Reliance, which is just, you get some healing when no one's near you, but I guess as a disc it doesn't really affect you that much because you'll probably just put Atonement on yourself anyway. So yeah, that's a non-worth in my opinion. And then Vampiric Speed, which is like a leveling talent. Great for leveling. They just nerfed the speed actually, which was a shame, but yeah, great for leveling, but other than that, not really a PvP trait. So yeah, that's basically everything. I've put obviously pictures next to them so you can easily see if you're like deciding what you want to go or what's on your item, whether you can like pick it out of here real quick. Obviously there's a search function as well, but just aesthetically more pleasing. Just some notes on Atonement down here, that damage trinkets, racials, and Azerite traits do not actually give you Atonement healing, so the damage procs lose some value from that, which is why a lot of them are actually ranked quite lowly for me. And then I've just got some rough numbers here. It depends. It changes depending on gear, but it's just some quick calculations and testing I did, just to see like how much 100 int, 100 versa, 100 mastery actually give you in terms of numbers. So you maybe want to give that a quick check out as well. And then this is the percentages that you get. So for me, it's close at the moment between Versa and Mastery. With Haste, you want at least, I think, 15% Haste. If you can, 20. because that does help with the issues with global as well. But I think that's everything I wanted to say. Again, if anyone disagrees with any of my rankings, you know, hit me up in the comments and just give you a reason why and your argument for and against and whatnot, because I think it's going to be super useful for everyone if we talk about that, and then I can just edit things accordingly. I don't claim that this is like the definitive perfect list by any means. You know, this is just my initial thoughts based on some games on beta and looking at the stats that it gives, and you know how much you value mastery and versa and stuff. Looking at stuff like this down here. So yeah, I think that was everything. Hope you guys found it useful at least. And yeah, I'll be updating this as stuff changes. So obviously the video will become outdated, but the document will remain current. And as I said, the values on here are for eye level 370 Azerite gear. Bear in mind that if you get the last trait on it, which is 5 eye levels, everything on it will actually increase. The stats on it don't scale with your overall item level or your int or anything like that. It literally just scales off the item level of the Azerite piece. So that's where this is gonna go up and down and whatnot. Anyway, thanks very much for watching, and see you on the stream, I guess.